Perfect. All right. So we're kind of working this out. So it looks like most people were able to join that were on yesterday. If not, I might try to look at my email here just to see they got if they got in. All right. So this is good old technology for us. I've got us recording. I will share my screen here. And I did put the bit.ly link in there for those of you who weren't with us yesterday. It's in the chat. If you don't see it, if someone else wants to put it in again, they sure can. All right. So let me get to the slide deck here. So yesterday we did go over Google Drive, Google Docs, Classroom. We talked about Google Chrome and then also Google Slides. So again, there will be the recording uploaded to YouTube. I noticed that only half of it got uploaded since I had to restart my computer or restart Chrome yesterday. It stopped the recording, so I will get the other half uploaded as well. And then today what we are going to do, we are going to, again, cover a lot of different apps out there. Again, this is going to prepare you for the exam. If you aren't thinking about taking the exam, you may feel a little overwhelmed. Take a deep breath. Try to learn as much as you can, but you know, with remote learning here, it's easy. You can mute me if I do overwhelm you or go too fast. Do look for training in the future. Back in May, I did do a week-long training over the Google Level 1 Prep, and we will try to implement that back again as well. So today we will cover Gmail, Calendar, and then all of these other apps here on the right-hand side of the column, and then I will talk about the Level 1 exam a little bit more. So again, jumping to slide 29, the skill set for Gmail of what you need to know for the exam are some of these bulleted points here. Again, Gmail can be an hour, 2 hour long workshop or even longer. And if you want to go more in depth for Gmail, feel free to take a look at the link on the YouTube channel. We will talk about the YouTube channel today a little bit when we talk about the YouTube app. So I'm just going to jump in over here to my email and, oh, I'm getting another chat about, okay, was this event canceled or moved to virtual? So I'll talk about chat right now. So here's our Google chat that we have open. So if they need to get a hold of me real quick, it comes up. So you can see I'm responding to this chat here to Brian Bates. I guess someone else is maybe having a hard time getting into this workshop today. So my apologies. And I'll see if he messages me if he needs the link or what he may need. So see right here, it shows he's messaging me. So if you're used to using an iPhone and text messaging, this is similar to what it is on an iPhone. And this is just the Google chat. So I will minimize that, but it should pop back up when he sends me that new message. So here's my, okay, so, oh, guys, I apologize. I've got a few more emails here, people not getting the registration link. So I am just, Andy, when I sent you, when I sent you that link, you had no problems registering with that link, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So we will try to get everyone in. Thank you for your patience here. And I'm just copying the link here. Okay. So, okay, he didn't say anything else then. So back here to my email then. Oh, it's not letting someone else in Zoom. Okay. Yeah, I don't know on the back end how the ROE set all of this up. So with an email, let me go back to the slide deck. So threaded conversations. If you look at my email right here, it shows some of these that I've got like a number 2, 5, 3, 5, 7. So those threaded conversations, what that does is if I email them back and forth, it just puts it as one conversation here on my email. So if I look at this, if I click on this, it'll have all of the emails. So here you saw me email Bobby. Bobby, I don't know if you got on yet. It shows me her email here and then the email I sent her. And I don't know what participants need the links. So if you want that threaded conversation off, or if you're new to Gmail, let me tell you again, where do you think you would go for Gmail to look at the settings? If you're saying the gear, you're right, go to the gear. And then also don't forget that you've got the 3 lines here. You can have those, that's basically the main menu. So if you don't like the main menu showing, you can click on that and it just shortens it so you don't see it all the time. I'm used to having my main menu showing all the time. All right. All right, too many distractions this morning. I apologize. So we've got another person. So what I'm just doing, I'm just trying to real quick copy and paste the link. Are you guys able to, the people who are having trouble getting in and emailed me earlier, is anybody there? Were you able to get in with this link? All right, well, hopefully they are getting in. So if I come up here to the gear and I've got these settings here, oh, look at this. This just changed from yesterday. Okay, so if I go to the gear, my quick settings, this wasn't there yesterday because I do go to my settings a lot. So as you can see, does it look similar to what it has been before? It does. But I don't know if your settings, your quick settings look like this, if you've got this option there. But if I want to go to see all my settings, I can right now. But here's my quick settings right here. My suggestion, click on these different settings here to see what it does. I would only click on one thing at a time to see if you like it or if you don't. And if you don't like it, you can always come back here and change it back to the way it was. Some people might have themes on their email. This is where they do that. You can view all, and you can even upload your own pictures. Inbox type, again, you can change your inbox type. Here's the default I've got is just what Google has it set up, but you can have important first, unread first. You can change it, manipulate it, how it helps you, your workflow with your Gmail. But if I go to see all settings, this is where I usually go. Right here is settings, and then up here I've got a lot of different tabs. There's a lot on the Gmail settings. I don't look at it all the time, but if at any time when you're taking the exam and they ask you to change something with your Gmail, just know to go to the gear and go to your settings. But like earlier, I was showing you the threaded conversations. So I've got them together. With those threaded conversations, it's called conversation view right here. So I have my view on. If you saw, I think I had like 400 emails in my inbox. If I turn my conversation view off and I come down here and save my changes here, Do you see my conversations now? I've got 626. And I don't have the numbers by it. So they're all separate emails. So earlier here, I think Sarah, you were able to join, and she emailed me and then I emailed her back. With Teresa, I think Teresa, you got on today as well. Hopefully you're out there. Again, she emailed me, I'm emailing back. So they're separate here. Let me add, another thing I can do here. So Shelly still can't get in. So what I'm going to do is I am going to see, well, she's added. So here's another thing. Here's my calendar invite of the workshop today too, but it seems like, I don't know where the problem is here. I was going to just maybe send her an invite that way, but let me just go ahead and copy and paste the link again. So can I have either Bobby or Jeannie, Bobby King or Jeannie Nelson, are you on? And did this link work for you that I sent you? Okay, I know this link Andy got on, so I'm going to use that same link here. Oh. All right. Again, I apologize. I don't know what's going on the back end here, people getting into the Zoom room today. So if I go back, so the threaded conversations, what I did was I turned them off. And as you can see, when I turn them off, they're not together. When I turn it back on, they stay together. Again, it depends on what your preference is, what you like. I always usually keep my conversations on because I might want to see what else did we email back and forth about. The other thing here, labels, task, and settings, and advanced tabs here. So when you are in your Gmail account, you can, oh, let me go back. Do you see what I did? I didn't press the save on my threaded conversations. So I've changed it back to on. I have to come down here and press save the changes. If you can go back into settings here, and my suggestion, sometime take a look at these. You know, you can spend a lot of time here in the settings. If you've seen some people have settings, you get like a vacation responder on, or you know, get a message that someone's out of the office. How do they do that? It's right down here is where they can turn the vacation responder on. I know you might not, you know, during the school year take vacation, but some people even turn this vacation responder on, you know, if they're teaching all day and they have parents emailing them or kids emailing them and they don't have time to respond during the day, you can say, hey, thanks for reaching out to me. You know, during the day I'm working with students. I will respond to your email as soon as I have a chance to. And you can put, you know, that here in your message box and turn your responder on. So what will happen is every time someone emails you, they will then immediately get back an email from you stating what you have right here. I know some teachers use that, especially if they're used to having some parents email them. If their son or daughter is supposed to ride the bus home instead of walk, or vice versa, and the teacher's in charge of letting the office know or whatever, Again, this is important to say, hey, you know, if you're not at school today, you know, to say, hey, I am not at school today. I am not able to respond to your messages. Again, I will respond to them on my return to school, so that they know to hopefully then reach out to the office or whoever they need to get, you know, what whoever they need to know about how their son or daughter is getting home from school that day when we get back into meeting face-to-face. Also under the settings here, you can have, you know, if you've ever starred an email, well, besides starring an email, you can have it do the red bang, yellow bang. You've got some of these different things right here that you can have it do. So when I go and mark my email, I can click on the star, but then if I don't want the star, I just keep clicking and it'll change to these different icons here. Again, I can use different ones here. I just drag and drop them up there of which ones I want. If I don't want that one, I can drag it down here to not in use. Sometimes your email, when you start typing an email, it might suggest what else to say. Again, that's Smart Compose. You can turn that on and off. You can have nudges. So again, my suggestion, feel free to look at the all of this in settings to see what you can change and manipulate to help your workflow in Gmail better. Again, on the exam, they may, you know, talk about something in settings, and this is how you go and change it through the gear and settings. Another thing in my inbox, so I don't know what I've changed. Let me press save. Again, your inbox could be a hot mess. Some people may have 5,000, 10,000 emails in the inbox. Is that okay? It sure is, because I bet if I asked them about an email, they could probably go and find it. Again, we have differentiation, you know, that I've got some people out there's probably cringing even at 400 emails in my inbox. Some people like to keep 0 or 1 or 2. Again, we are all different. It is okay, however you have it set up. So why is that? If you go up here to search mail, it's kind of similar to Google Drive, where you can search for a particular person. So Andy, I'm just going to use your name right now. So Andy Chen here. If I want to search all of his emails here, I can hit search, and here he sent me an email. Now, if I want to filter all of the emails I get from Andy, what I can do is right down here is where I can create a filter. And what that will do is I can have it help me organize, help my workflow with Gmail. I could archive it if I want, skip the inbox. I can put it to a label. A label is similar to like a folder in Google Drive. My labels are over here. So you can see that different school districts that I work with a lot, I've got a label for, and then I have the labels for some of the ROEs that I work with. I've got a label for certain people that I might be messaging back and forth a lot, different various newsletters, Wakelet, lots of things out there. So I have it just skip my inbox. So let's say, for example, with Andy's email, I have it skip the inbox. I can apply it to a label that I have over here. And if I don't see a label that I want to apply it to, I will, I can always come up here and hit new label right here. Very similar to creating a new folder. I'll put it in the online class for now, label. And then you also want to make sure you check this last box here. Also apply filter to one matching conversation. So what that will do is it will create a filter. And how I've got it is that it's going to skip my inbox. So anytime Andy emails me, it's going to skip my inbox and it's going to come over here. And how will I know that he emails me? Do you see how some of these I have a number here? That shows you that I've got, so from ISTE right now I have 4 unread emails. Some of these are different organizations out there. Again, I don't always have the time or take the time to go and look at everything they send me. So as you can see, I still have a bunch of unread emails. I can go and click on those and make them all unread if I want. But if I come down here to online class, then Andy's email will be in my online class label. So some people like skipping the inbox, some people don't. I did try it in the beginning. I didn't like it. I do like it now because it does help me clean up my inbox here and help me keep organized. What I've just learned to do though, I have to not only looking at my inbox here, so as you can see, I have some emails here that I need to go back and answer or read, but I also need to look over here that, oh, I've got some emails over here from people that I need to maybe respond to. So from the ROE1, there's an email there I need to read and respond to. Anytime that I open up an email, I can always go and click on these three dots. And let's say, you know, I want to mark it unread from here. I started to do that here recently so that if I looked at it real quick and I know I needed to respond to it, but I didn't have time right now to respond to it, I could put mark unread from here, and then it puts it bold still to let me know that I need to go back and read that or mark that, or read it or respond to it. Another thing I could do is I could come over here to my star. I could put a star there, or if I keep clicking, do you see how I have the different icons there? How did I get the different icons there? That was in my settings, and I just have it pulled. I've turned on some different icons. So if I want this red bang turned on to let me know, hey, that's important, I need to pay attention, maybe get to that today, then I can, you know, change that to the red bang or whatever icon I've got it set up to be. Again, that was all under the gear and settings. So labels went through, and I will tell you, when I was first doing these labels here in Gmail, it took me at least 6 or 7 times to really understand it and then start using it with the labels. So it just helps me stay organized. Again, does that organization work for you? It may not, and that's fine. Again, your organization may be everything's here in your inbox, and you get everything from your inbox, and you just can search your mail by who it's from. You can also even refine your search by filtering if it's, you know, from somebody particular, or if it's a subject or has certain words in it, or even, you know, a day, or if there's attachments to it, if it includes chat or doesn't include chat. So you've got, again, the drop down arrow here where you can search your mail. Another thing I've got here is I do have my primary inbox here. I've got my social inbox. Again, on the back end, Google, I've turned this on, but Google has an algorithm that it pulls different emails. So from the Google Plus, it pulls that, and from YouTube into the social tab. My promotions, again, the algorithm, it pulls different promotions that are sent to my email, goes right to the promotion tab. It, you know, stays out of my inbox. I didn't have to create this filter. I've got updates, and then I also have forums that I'm a part of. So looks like I have 2 new there, and then I've got 1 there as well.
Lisa?
Yeah.
Can you change the names on those tabs at the top? Instead of social, can it be like unread, mail, or something like that? Or are those just set?
The ones I have are set, but yes, there is a way. If you go back to the gear and the inbox type, so you could change it if you want important first, unread first, starred first, priority inbox. So you do have the, you know, play around with this over here, and you can change that. Yeah, great question. Oh, and right now, right down here, email threading. So they must have put this on quick settings because this is what a lot of people maybe use and turn on and off. They have it right here. So I don't even have to go into all the settings. If I go back into all the settings and I go back to my labels, I can see all of the labels I have. Again, some of the labels were created from Google so that anytime I starred something, it would go into this starred label. It would, important, sent, scheduled. Another thing you can do is schedule an email. If I go back to inbox and I compose an email, and let's say I know my principal is going, usually checks emails at 7:30 in the morning. So what I could do is, type the email, put in whoever's name, I'll put Aaron's name in, and let's say then I don't want to send it right now. Come down here where it says send, click on this bottom arrow and schedule send. So again, a while back, this was an add-on. Google saw the use of this, that many people were using this, so they just incorporated that right into Gmail as well. And here you can decide when you're going to send it, what date and time to send it. So if you know that your principal's usually reads email 7:30, send it to them at that time. So it pops up right there in their inbox when you want them to see it. And then when you do hit scheduled send, let me go ahead and click on it. It comes over here, it says there's one scheduled. Let's say I've got it scheduled and I'm like, oh, I really don't want to send that. I can cancel the send right there. And then if I want to, then I can just discard the draft. Another thing here under the gear and settings here is the advanced tab. Just be aware of the advanced tab here that you can enable and disable things. Again, this is for you to be able to customize how your Gmail works for you. Again, everyone thinks differently and wants to organize their Gmail differently, so you have some choices here as well. So take a look at that. Again, you might click on some of these different tabs here and you might not understand what they do. Play around with it, click on it, see what happens. So right here, the filters, this is the filter. So I've got any email from heather@roe1.net. If I go and edit it, it shows the filter I've got for her. I don't have it going anywhere, but it just shows that I've created one. So if you want to go back in and change any of the filters that you've created, you can delete them if I don't want them any longer. So if the labels are the different labels you've created, you can create new here as well, or you can create them from where I showed you from up here. So again, multiple ways to do the same thing. So if you look at the slide deck here, on slide 30, that's challenge. Feel free if you have time to see what you can do on that. Again, do you have to do the challenge? You don't. It is there similar to, tasks that they may ask you on the exam. All right. Hopefully you guys aren't, for the people who got in late, you're okay. Taking a deep breath. Glad you're here with us. I am recording this, so what you missed in the beginning, you can always go back and see. And I can always jump on another Zoom call with you and help you out and answer any of your questions as well. Moving on to calendar here. So again, with Google Calendar, how can I get to Google Calendar? Again, as long as I'm signed into my Google Chrome web browser and I go to a new tab, I can go to the waffle here. I didn't show you earlier to get to your Gmail. You can go to your Gmail here as well. Again, once I open up my Gmail, I pin it to my tab up here and I just keep it up there. Again, even when I shut down my computer or restart it, my pin tabs come back up. But if you don't like pinning the tabs, that's fine. You don't have to. Just come over here, click on Gmail to open Gmail up, or come here to the waffle and open up your calendar. And or you can type in calendar.google.com. So then when you go to your calendar, I've got my calendar pinned over here as well. Again, you've got a gear here. You've got the 3 lines here. Really, the 3 lines is just the main menu. You can hide the main menu if you don't want that to show. Again, I like my main menu to show, so I can switch back and forth. If I'm looking at my Google Classrooms, I can turn them on, turn them off. I can, turn off my calendar here as well, and can go from there. So if I look here, I've got the month view, but if I want, I can do a week view. Again, it depends on what you like. You've got the choices here. You can change it at any time that you want. Let me go back here to, so various calendar views. Oh, the sharing options, creating events. Okay. So if I go up here and I hit create an event, so I can go here and hit create, and I can put a title here. I'm just going to put sample in. And I know someone earlier before the workshop started talked about they don't have appointment slots. Some of you might not have appointment slots on the back end. Your Google admin, I do believe, has to turn those on. They may not know that they can turn those on and off. So if you do want them on to experiment with them, check with your Google admin to see if they can turn them on. And the appointment slots, what that does is some people use this to send out to parents for when they have the student-led conferences for them to sign up at a time. So you don't have to email back and forth a time. They can just look at the appointment slot page and pick a time that works for them. So if you click on appointment slots here, so you can put in, a date. We'll go ahead and just put in, let's put in 2:30, and then I will put it in for until 7:30. So it's 5 hours, and then the slots with the duration, again, I can put 30 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it may be. I've got, I can change that. I can even do a single slot if I need to, but usually when you're having multiple parents sign up, you'll want to do, the multiple appointment slots. Right now, it's going to my LTC calendar. If I need it to go to a different calendar, I can select my different calendar right here. And then, as you can see, I can make it a Zoom meeting if I need to. You may not have the option if you don't use Zoom. You might be able to, if I go to more options, you may have the option of making it, I guess a Google Meet. It doesn't let you with a Google Meet. So I'll still show you how to create a Google Meet through your calendar as well, though. And then you can add guests from here if you want. Here's the calendar's appointment page. So if I click on that, I have your own link here for this page. So what you can do is copy and paste this link and give this to, send it out an email for parents, or if you have a Google Classroom or Google Sites that you share information to parents with, you can post it there as well, and they would just click on it then to select the appointment that they would like. So let me just go ahead and save this here. Before I save it though, do you see where I could add guests? So if I want to add guests to this appointment calendar, I can. And then here, find the time. With Erin's email, I can't, or with her account, I cannot see her calendar. But if I chose someone that I could see their calendar, like with Elizabeth, I could see her calendar. I could find a time as well to see what might work with her, whether I'm doing appointment slots or not. So if you do share with guests, you have that option too. But a majority of the time, you can't see other people's calendars outside of your Google domain. And even within your Google domain, they can set it up where you can't see other people's calendars. Again, it depends on what the policy of the school district is. So let me go ahead and hit save. And right here on my calendar, it says that I've got appointment slots. And do you see it's kind of like a grid view here? And if I click on this, it takes me to the appointment page for this calendar. And then again, I can copy that for other parents or whoever I need to give this link to sign up for time. So then all they would have to do is click on it and, you know, this might say parent or student-led conferences, and then they click on it, and then they sign up for it, and then they press save, they book an appointment, and then it shows who's meeting. So then you can see who signed up for what time.
Does that mean the parent has access to your calendar all the time or just for those specific days?
Great question. Just for that appointment slot that you shared with them. Yeah. They won't be able to see the rest of my calendar.
Are you able to change the settings to have 2 people sign up for a same slot? Because we do like 2 at one time.
What you might do then, I don't think you can, but could you create another appointment slot section for that same time as well? Good question. So if I do the same time, let me name it I'll just name it conferences. And if you look right here, it looks like I'm able to. So then you might, sharing, I guess you could just share both of the links, you know, to the parents, because they will have, yeah, you're welcome. Great question. They'll have their own separate links for each of the appointment slot calendars. Yep, great question. And then so anytime you've got this, you can go back and edit the event. So you also have more actions up here. So anywhere you think you can click, you know, try it, click on it, see what happens. Another thing you can do here, you know, when creating an event, if it's not an appointment slot, you can add video conferencing. And I like to go to more options here and show, so I could see all of this. So here's the add video conferencing, the Google Meet. You could, you know, if you were scheduling a Google Meet, whether it was with a parent or whoever it may be, you can click on that and you've got a link here, and that's what they will get. They will just need to click on that to join the Google Meet. You can put a description here. You can add attachments here. Again, this is where you change what calendar you want it from if you don't want it from your own calendar. When you do invite guests, you can allow that guest to modify events or not modify events, but they could invite others and see guest list. If you don't want them to invite others, just click off of that so that they don't have that. You can have it repeat. You can, if there's not a certain time you want it, you can just mark it for all day and you don't have to put a time in there.
Lisa, I'm sorry. You may have answered this, but my Zoom crashed. When you're doing the appointment slots, are those individual appointments or would multiple people be able to sign up for the same appointment?
Yeah, great question, Carly. Someone asked that when probably your Zoom crashed. And what I showed here is that they could just create 2 appointment slots and maybe share both of those links out to the parents. And yeah, great question. So I don't know if you see here on my screen, I've got 2 different ones. I've got that one named conferences and this one just named sample. So just, you know, share out the links to the parents there.
So it will only allow one person to sign up for that, or?
That I'm aware of.
Okay.
I say give it a try, or if anybody else knows, feel free to unmute and let us know. But if I click here, it already says, hey, someone signed up. I can't click on it again.
Are you able to, once they sign up, like have that repeat every week? So say I was having this for library time, and then my library time is going to be that same exact time every week. So once I sign up for the 12:30 slot, can you have that repeat, or?
Yeah, so you could have it. I don't know if the time slots will show if they would just have to go in and sign up every time, or if on your end you could just copy and paste that. Great question. I don't know that answer. I would just have to play around with it to see. Does anyone know?
Alex, and tell her he has a cleaning. Did you?
Maria, I don't know if you were trying to answer that. If you are, feel free to unmute yourself. And I heard you talking there for a little bit, Maria. So I don't know who asked that question. I'm sorry.
Brittany Acree asked the
Okay.
question.
Brittany, that's fine. Thank you. And again, I think, oh, Teresa says great ideas, but I would just have to try it to see. I just know you can put it out there. I don't know if it would save what they did for one time to another. Give it a try if you have time right now, and then please let us know what you find out. And so I love these questions. And as you can see, I don't know all of the answers, but that's when, you're making these different apps out there work for you and your students. So I love questions here, and that's how, as you can see, I'm learning too, that I haven't had to do that before, but I like that idea with the library. So check that out. And if anybody else wants to try too, and feel free to drop it in chat or let us know in a little bit as well. So then here on slide 32, you've got a challenge here. If you have time to go back in and see if, play around with it and see what you know and what you don't know and what questions you still may have. Okay. How are we doing with questions in chat? Any other questions in chat? All right, so I will move on here.
Hey, Steph,
Yeah,
if you go back 2 slides, it talked about adding a document to the calendar.
yeah.
Is that a pretty easy thing to do? I apologize, I didn't see that on the.
Yeah, no, great question. Thanks for asking. So,
Thanks.
yeah, no, you're welcome. Under more options here, you can attach documents. I don't think I showed you. I think I said it really fast probably. So when you click on add attachment here, I can add an attachment to this, this calendar that I created, or to the invite here. So if I needed to, add this slide deck here, I just click it, select it, and then it's added here to this calendar invite here that I created. And that's all you have to do. You can put a description here. Again, you've got some choices to bold, underline, italicize. You've got some other formatting options here as well. Notification here, you can notify them either by email or just the notification, the little bell that notifies you, hey, 10 minutes before an event happens. Again, I know some school districts turn that off on the back end. So if you don't see it, you might not have that availability. Maybe go and try your personal account. So great question. All right, with Google Forms and Sheets, we're again going to skim the top of what Google Forms and Sheets are. If you've used them before, feel free, go ahead and look at the challenges, see if you can do the challenges and see if you've got any questions you may have from the challenges. Challenges are on slides 34 to 36. But with Google Forms, let me just do a quick overview. I do have a couple links here for ideas for forms out there if you've never used them before. Basically what a form is you can take a survey with it. Most of you signed in, whether it was yesterday or today, clicking on that link for the Google form, and you answered questions. And what's nice about a Google form, then every Google form that you collect data on or the kids take a quiz on, it turns it into a sheet. So how do I get to forms? If I go up here to a new tab, again, I can come over here to the waffle, go to forms that way. I could also type in forms.new if I want to just start a new form. Again, if you are new to forms, my suggestion is maybe take a look at some of the templates out there that you can use. Anytime if you do start a new form, at any time in the process, you can change that Google form into a quiz. You don't have to start off with a blank quiz in the beginning. Can you, if you know it's going to for sure be a quiz? Yeah, go ahead and do that, because on the back end, what it's done is Google Forms has turned that, the quiz aspect on for the form, but you do have control over the form. So right here, these are all of my forms. I will tell you this, when I go to Google Forms, or I know I want to go to a Google form that I've created, I usually don't go over here to my waffle to get it. Where do I go? I go to my drive. And here in my drive, this is where I go to locate the form that I'm working on. If I know where it's at, I can go right to that folder and get it. If I'm not for sure where it's at, I can come up here to the search my drive. Again, I can be the most disorganized person and find things in my drive. It's okay how you've got your drive organized. That's what I love about technology, that it does help for differentiation. So what I can do, I can come down here to search forms. If I know it's a form that I own, I can put owned by me. If I can't remember the title, the item name, or if I know it has some of these words in here, I can put that in. If not, I can just search forms and it's owned by me. So if I go out there, here's in my drive, it is searching the forms that are owned by me. And I am looking for, so as you can see, I need to clean up my, my forms, because I've got a bunch out there that I use to demonstrate here in workshops, and some of them I don't need anymore. So that's not the form I wanted. So it opens up on a new tab. I can go back here. Okay, this is the form I want. So I'm going to come up here and close out of that form. So on this form, what I've got one created already where I've got questions. Now let's say I want to create a new one and I want to use some of these questions. So let me show you a couple things. So to create a new form, all I have to do is go to forms.new. It's a shortcut for me having to go to the waffle. Can I still go to the waffle and create a new form there? I can. So let's say I'm creating a new form to send out to my students. One thing I do is I always ask two separate questions. What is your first name and what is your last name? Because I learned, trust me, I made lots of mistakes in the past. I still make mistakes here, and I hopefully learn from them. But one thing I learned is, you know, if I just ask what is your name for the students, they would just maybe give me their first name. Well, if I had two Andys in the classroom, well, I wouldn't know which Andy necessarily filled out this form. So that's where I came to start adding the last name. So instead of me going in here and typing in what is your first name for every form that I create, do you see I put what is your first name? It changed it right to short answer, because it at first had multiple choice. But if it changes it again to what you don't want, you can always change it back to if you wanted it multiple choice. But no, it knows that, yeah, I want short answer. And then instead of me typing that in every time, I could import questions. Click on that import questions here, and it takes me to my Google Forms. Select from a form to import a question. So let's say I want to import it from this workshop example that I have open. What it does is it puts all of my questions over here on the right-hand side. So, oh, I want this question in this form. You know, if I want this question in the form too, I can click on that and hit, it says to, it says import questions to. So that's all I had to do. It imports the questions for me. I don't have to retype them. Another thing I do is right here, do you see there's an asterisk here on this question? There's not one on this one. The difference is required. I do make them required, but when I'm first making the form, I don't. Why is that? Because in case if I have several sections on here and I preview my form, it won't let me go to another section until I've answered the form if I'm previewing it. So what do I mean by that? So right now, I don't have sections on this one. If I switch back to this one, right here I've got questions required and I've got different sections. So if I come up here to the I is where I can preview it. Oh, I've already responded. I can't fill this form out again. So I've got that under the gear. I have settings on where that I've limited it to one response and restrict to users within our Google domain. So let me change that, hit save, and let me see then if I can preview it. Okay, so let me preview it. Now, do you see where anywhere I have this asterisk here, I've got to answer the question. And I'm just previewing it. So if I want to preview the next section, if I click next, it won't let me go to the next section until I answer this. So even though I'm in preview mode, I have to answer it if I want to look at the next section. So why would you want to go in preview mode? Just see, so you can see what it looks like when your students are taking it or you're sending out to participants to fill out. So you can just, again, see what they're going to see. So the required, what I do with the required is I turn that off in the beginning. When I know I have the form, how I want it to look, I will turn that on. And all I have to do is go to each question and turn it on when I want it on. But it's a little bit more work because I have to go to that. But personally, I found that I want to go through and preview it before I send it out. Can I preview it from here? I can. That's just, I don't know what I've gotten used to. There's, again, differentiation. So if you don't want to necessarily go up here to the preview to look at it, that doesn't matter if you make it required now or later then. So right here after I've got a couple questions. If I need another question here, all I have to do is click add a question, and I can add a question here. If I want this question to come up here instead, all I have to do is drag this box up here and I can move the questions around that way. So even though I've got, I typed in a question and I thought of another one that I want to put here, just hover my mouse over this part and I can drag it up or down like that. Again, if I don't want this question anymore, I can delete it. If I'm asking a similar question, what I could do, I can duplicate it. If I've got here 3 dots, I've got those 3 dots will be different depending on the type of question you ask. If you click here, you've got, I think, 9 different types of questions you can ask. You can even have files uploaded to this Google form. And, if you do, there's some size limitations and stuff, but you can learn about that if you do use the file upload. So here, the linear scale, got how many siblings, brothers, and sisters do you have? And I put 0 to 10. And then I put the words none, or for 10, wow, you've got 10 siblings. And then do you see an answer key is shown here? And I'll teach you how to show the answer key. Would I necessarily grade this? I want it, but I turned it on just to show you how you can turn the answer key on and off. So let me see. If I go up here to, before I go to the gear, you might not have the puzzle piece here. The puzzle piece will show up when you put add-ons on. Again, you'll find out when you need the form to do something, you'll go and search for some different add-ons that you might want to manipulate your Google form. Again, with the form, all changes are saved in your drive. You don't have to hit save. And then right here, I've got it moved to a folder. I've got it just in my drive. I don't have it in a particular folder, so I can put it in a folder if I want, or I can create a folder right here from the form. If I want to star this form, I can star it and it'll go in my starred folder in my Google Drive. Also over here, I've got the paint palette. I can change my theme. Right now I've got purple. I can choose a different image for the header. I think the image of the sign-in sheet that you filled out was a picture of a beach, I believe. But again, you can change the color here, background color, and even font style. So you've got a few theme options here. You can change your form. If I come up here to the gear, there's 3 tabs here. Here in general is where I can have it collect email addresses. If it does this, it will make it required. And as you can see, this setting is required to release grades manually if you do set this up as a quiz. Response receipts, if you want the participants to get a receipt that they've submitted the form or the quiz, you can put a response receipt here. You have the choice if respondents requested, or you can always put always. So it lets them know that they submitted that form. Again, requires sign-in. You can have it restrict to your Google domain, and you can also limit it to 1 response. As you saw, when I first opened up this form to preview it, it said I limited it to 1 response. I had already answered it. It wouldn't let me fill out the form again. Usually for quizzes, or if it's a survey you don't want them to fill out again, you would limit it to 1 response. Now, again, depending on if it's a survey, questionnaire, whatever it may be, do you want to give them ability to edit after submit? And then also, do you want to allow them to see the summary charts and text responses of how everyone else answered the questionnaire, survey, or whatever it may be? So you can turn those on and off. Now, since I do have a question on here about uploading files, right here, it says this form will stop collecting responses once the total size of all file uploads reaches the limit specified by the setting. So I've got a setting in here. So if you know the file sizes are going to be large, you might want to increase this. If I go to presentation, so if you're taking, whether it's a quiz or a questionnaire, do you want to show a progress bar? So if you have sections and you want them to see, okay, they completed section 1 of 2 or 1 of 10. I always like to see that when I'm filling out a questionnaire. How much more do I have to go? You have that option if you want to put that on there. You have the option to shuffle the question order, especially if it's a quiz and the kids are in-house, face-to-face, taking the quiz at the same time. And then also, do I want to show link to submit another response? So again, if they have choice to fill out this Google form more than once. And then right here, the confirmation message. Again, you could put, thanks for filling this out. Now that you filled it out, you could have the participants or your students, whoever it is, give them direction here. Now go back to Google Classroom. You can put a link from your Google Classroom here of what assignment they need to go to next, or whatever you may want to put here. You have the ability to put anything in this confirmation message that you so choose. And they will get that once they hit the submit button on the form. And then quizzes. Right here, again, it's a click of this button right there that you can make this a quiz or not. So make this a quiz. You do have the option now with Google Forms to turn on locked mode. This will only work if you have managed Chromebooks from your district. Let's say a kid is trying to access this Google form from another device that isn't managed from the district. Locked mode will not work. They will not be able to get into that Google form. So the only way the locked mode will turn on is if it's managed devices, managed Chromebooks from your district, that this will work. So if you're not for sure, you might want to turn this off. What this does, the lock mode, is similar to when you administer MAP testing or some of the different tests out there, that your kids can't open up other tabs while they are in the testing environment. And the same thing with this Google form. While they're in this Google form, their Chromebook is locked. They can't open up other tabs on that Chromebook that they are using if it's managed by the school district. Again, with this Google form, you can have it immediately release after each submission, or you can have it released later after manual review. Again, you do have choice. Do you want the respondents to see missed questions, correct answers, and or point values? So once you have all of these tabs marked of how you want it, you can press save. As you saw earlier, when I tried to preview this, it wouldn't let me because I had marked it limit to 1 response. At any time, even though you push this out, you can go in and change how you've got this. So if you want, you pushed it out and you saw one student answered the form twice and you thought, oh shoot, I forgot to limit it to 1 response. That's fine. Go and limit it to 1 response before the rest of your students take it. So even though they've already got the link, as long as they haven't, as long as you come here and hit limit to 1 response, then the kid that answered it twice already, he won't be able to go in and answer it a 3rd time. So again, there's a lot to know with Google Forms. Feel free to check out, if you're brand new to Google Forms, check out the YouTube channel of where I did do a workshop on forms, or Google it and find out some other information. But anytime you scroll down to the different questions, this toolbar comes with you. So I showed you how to add a question, import a question. You can add image. You can even add a video here. And here's where you add sections. But if you look here, if you're just prepping for the exam, look at these slides for the challenges, and hopefully that will give you the confidence that you need to take the exam. But yeah, there is so much more you can do with forms. Again, if you are overwhelmed with forms, try it out. Maybe try it out with a coworker, or as you can see, you can even take the form yourself and fill it out. So if I come up here to responses, do you see there's 5? I've got responses here, and it shows that I have 5 people who have responded. I can look at this by summary. I can look at it by question, individual question, or by the individual student that filled it out. So here's response 1, here's response 2. I can click here or there. If I need to, I can print responses. If students also still have this form and you're not accepting responses anymore, you can just turn it off. So then when they try to click on the form, they will get this message. This form is no longer accepting responses. If at any time you want to turn that back on, all you have to do is turn that back on. Let me show you one other thing. So since I turned this into a quiz, do you see I have an answer key here? So if I click on the answer key, this is, again, I wouldn't use this as an answer, key for them letting me know what is their school mascot. But whatever the answer key is here, I just click on it and it puts a check mark to let me know these are the answer. So on this one, I could put multiple answers for the answer key if I want, or I can just have one. And I'm just clicking on it, clicking on it again if I want to take it off. So I can also do an answer feedback when I've turned it into a quiz. So what I can do for any incorrect answers, I could put a message here. I can even link material here. I can even link a YouTube video for them to relearn this concept if they got the incorrect answer. If they got a correct answer, again, I can put feedback here and link material here as well. So as you can see, there's a lot. Right here, how many points it's worth. Again, you can decide how many points. You can use the up or down arrow or just highlight it and then type in the numbers as well. When you're done, just hit done, and then you can go on to the next question that you've got. As you can see, I put in a picture here. I had them answer right a question. It's a long answer text. Here's a short answer text. Here's a video. Then you can ask a question based off of that video. And then, so do you see how my points, since I added that one question as 10 points, it automatically changed to 13 points. And then what I can do, I can send this link to them. I can add this form in Google Classroom if I use Google Classroom. I can send it out by email if I would like. I can add collaborators. So if there's a few different teachers working on the same form, you both can collaborate on it together. If I click on these 3 dots here, again, I've got some other options for this form as well. I can make a copy. I can get pre-filled link. So again, lots to learn. But again, if you look at the challenges here on the slide deck to prep you for the exam, feel free to take a look at those. So the next thing we're going to do is we'll go into Sheets, and here after Sheets, we'll take a quick break. But again, hopefully you guys are taking a break when you need to. If we go here on slide 33, I also have some links here. Feel free to click on those to get some ideas for Google Forms and Sheets as well. I am going to go to slide 36. Okay. Before I go to that, so right here on this responses of this workshop example form that I've been working in this morning, if I go right here, I can view my responses in a sheet. Also, I've got these 3 dots here. I can, anytime my form is filled out, I can get an email notification for new responses. I can select response destination, unlinked form, download my responses to a CSV file, again, print, or if I want to delete all of my responses, I could do that as well if I'm reusing the form. If I want to reuse the form for another class, I could just come up here and make a copy as well. But if I'm reusing the form from year to year, I could just, delete the responses and then just use the same form, and I don't have to make a copy. So if I click here to view the responses in Sheets, here's all of the answers. What I like about this, it does timestamp it. So if, in the beginning, if you forget to limit it to 1 response and, students have taken it twice, you can always go with the first timestamp of the first time they took the form or filled it out. And then email address. So I changed it midstream where I didn't require the email address on these first 2, and then here in May, I started to require it. It shows the score. Okay. It's got first name, so these are the questions and how they're answered. And here, even though, they put in their websites here, it does link them to that website. So if I need to go take a look at that website, sometimes teachers in the classroom, I use Google Sites for them to put in their work. That was their portfolio. And so if I wanted a quick and easy way to go and check their portfolio, I could have them put the link of their portfolio within this Google form to look at it that way. And what was nice was the link was already there. I just had to click on the link to go to that. Here's the short answer, writing about, or I guess this is the long answer, writing about their favorite food. So as you can see, each of the questions are up here, and then their answers just follow down there. If you do change your form at any time, you will see, you might have some of the cells empty here. Again, because I didn't have that required in the beginning. Also, you can see on this form, I didn't require the first and last name. So I'm like, oh, I don't know who that is. Again, if I didn't require email address. Okay, so let me then, I'm going to use this spreadsheet here that I've got on slide 36. It's a sample grade book. Now, I've got it forced to make a copy, so you can make your own copy. And I'm not the owner of this, but I want to show you even simple things. It's okay. If the owner gives you permission to use different files out there, use it. Why recreate the wheel unless if you have plenty of time on your hands? So what I've done is Gail created this spreadsheet here, given me permission to use it. I'm using it. It shows she's the owner. I'm not telling you that I created this, but yeah, is it something that I could? Is it something you could? Sure, but hopefully you're learning with technology that a lot of teachers out there are sharing things free of charge. Just give credit to where credit's due. So right here, this is a sample grade book here in Google Sheets. So right now, I'm going to go through how to do formulas. I will tell you this, Sheets usually is one of the apps that causes people most anxiety out there. Take a deep breath here. A few things I'm going to show you will hopefully then help you on the exam. So formulas. Back in the day, we had to remember to put, equal sign and, put the formula exactly how it should be. Well, now they have functions here for you that you don't have to remember what a formula needs to be. All I have to do, there's a couple different ways, more than a couple different ways, but if I click here on F2, I come up here to the function. The functions are my, my sum average. It's where I can manipulate the data here using formulas. If for some reason you don't see this toolbar here, you can click over here and, well, it should be there. That just moves this away. If you don't see that, let me know. There's a way to get that back. But for some reason, if you come up here to, it's either insert or tools. Is it tools? Or insert, it's under insert function. So I could go to it there. I'm just used to going to it up here. So if I go up here to insert function and I want average, I click on average. So the computer puts in equals average. It's got parentheses and then another parentheses there. So I can either type in what cells I want here or I can highlight. So if you have ever played Battleship, Battleship will help you understand sheets. So if I put B2 in, if I enter B2, that is right here. It's B, the column, 2 is the row. It's where they intersect. And if I was playing Battleship, you would say either hit or miss. So I would put B2 in, and then I would put the colon, and then I could put E2. Or right here, click here. I click, oh, it won't let me. So I get an error. I was thinking I could click there. I just come up here to the formula bar, and then I can put E2 in. And then it shows me, hey, it's equals average, B2 to E2. It highlights it for me. Is this what I want to find the average for? And then up here, it shows me the answer. It is, so I'll go ahead and hit enter. And there I've got my answer. Now, where's my formula? Again, click on this. My formula is up here in my formula bar. So again, how to do that? One way is coming up here and going to the average, and I typed in B2 colon E2. Another way you could do it, you could just highlight this, and it puts B3 to E3 in. Okay, so if I had 150 students, this would take me a while. Well, do you see this right here at the bottom of the cell? It is called the fill handle. What the fill handle does, it will fill the whole entire column of this formula. So let me just go a little bit here. So what it does is it changed the formula for each row. So B4 to E4, B5 to E5. So it does change it based off of the row you are in. So all I had to do, I had to put a formula in at least one of the cells, and then use the fill handle. Do you see how my mouse changes? And then hold down my mouse over the fill handle and drag it down. Now, can I keep dragging it down even though there's no numbers there? I can. So, if later on, if I add another student and I add some grades, it will take an average of the grades here. Even if I don't have any grades here, that's okay. It'll take the average of those two grades. So I could, if I wanted to, go ahead and do that. Right now it's saying, there's an error there because I don't have anything in the cell. I can highlight that and then just delete that if I want. But at any time, I can even go to the fill handle and drag down again to get the formula. So with the formula, really, you don't have to sweat making sure you know that how the formula should be, the exact formula. All you have to do is come up here to the function key, not the function key, but the to this toolbar here and go to functions, come down here to average. So if I want to take a sum, here's sum. I even have count, max, min. And as you can see, you have a lot more other functions here. I don't even worry about these functions. Sometimes I use a if-then function, but I haven't used a majority of these functions. So at least for the exam, you don't have to sweat knowing about all of those other functions. Another thing here, I've got this, if you've noticed, my spreadsheet. How is it sorted? Is it sorted by alphabetically by name? Is it sorted by test one, or one of the tests, or by average? So by just taking a quick look, it's sorted by average. How do I sort that? All I had to do you see when I hover over the column F, there is a drop-down arrow. I can sort this sheet A to Z based off of this column. So right now, this sheet is sorted Z to A in descending order. If I put A to Z, look what happens. It puts it in ascending order here, but from low to high. You see how the names then are different. So everything, when I sorted this, all of the data came with this. So everything changes to how it's supposed to be. Because did you see when I put Joe in, I put Joe in row 27. Well, he came up here and all of his data came with him. So you can change it by that. You can, come over here to name, and I can alphabetize it sort the sheet A to Z here as well. And as you can see, I have a lot of other options here that I can do. Now, if you've got a lot of, students and you're looking at the data, whether it's MAP test data or other testing data, and you're scrolling down and the header doesn't stay there, you can freeze rows and you can freeze columns. So how do you freeze rows or columns? If I come up here to, I can never remember where it's at. Did I go past it? Oh, under view and go freeze. I can freeze certain rows or columns if I want. And when I do that, then when I scroll down, that column stays, or excuse me, this row stays. If I want to freeze column A, if I'm looking at the data and going farther over to the right, I could freeze column A by going hit freeze. I want to freeze one column, and then I've got it froze. So you can see when I freeze a column or a row, you kind of get a thick line underneath it to let you know it's frozen. Can I go and unfreeze it? I can. I can go and unfreeze it if I want to as well. I can also go to hide column, resize column. I can resize column by view there, or I can even resize it here manually myself. So again, you've got a lot of different options up there, but understand how to sort some data, understand how to do the function tools here, average, sum, whatever it may be. And then also, most of the time when we see this data, then we have to report out, whether it's to our PLC group, our administrators, whoever it may be. So then what we could do is, majority of the people out there are visual learners. Does everyone know? But what you can do that now with this data is turn it into a chart. So in order to turn it into a chart, you have to select what you want in that chart. So right here, I'm going to click on column A. Let's say I want everyone's name in the chart, and I want, in this one, I want the average. So what I've done, I clicked on column A. You need to hold down the control key, or if you're on a Mac, the command key, and click on the other column that's not right next to each other. So let me say that again. So if you want to select two columns that aren't right next to each other, you want to hold down the control key if you're on a Chromebook or a Windows device, or the command key on a MacBook. So I highlighted column A, and then hold down the control or command key to highlight the next column you want. And then all I have to do is come up here to insert chart and click on insert chart. And what happens is on the back end, Google Sheets says, oh, do you want a chart that looks like this? This is the scatter chart. It puts the names here on the x-axis, the average of the test scores on the y-axis. It's got the data range here, A1 to A27, and then F1 to F27. So if I didn't want to highlight it, I could come over here and put it in manually myself. I can change this. So if I don't like the scatter chart, I could put a different chart here. But again, Google picks one for me. But I can change it. As you can see, I can change, I can edit the chart however I would like. I can also come here and customize it as well. If I come here also, there's 3 dots. Here's where I can edit the chart. So it brings me the chart editor. So if for some reason you click the X and your chart editor goes away, take a deep breath, click on the chart, come over here, hit the 3 dots, and you can edit your chart here. And that will bring back up your chart editor. Also, if I click on these 3 dots, I can delete the chart. I could even download this, as I have 3 different choices I could download it as. I could publish it, I could copy it, and then I can move it to its own sheet. So watch what happens when I move it to its own sheet. So again, I'm here, I selected the chart and the 3 dots. Do you see when I'm not on the chart, I don't have the 3 dots, so I have to select the chart. I can move the chart anywhere around this sheet, but let's say I want it on its own sheet. So just click on the 3 dots, move to own sheet. So here's the chart, and you think, oh, what happened to all of my data? It's still there. Again, take a deep breath. Where is it at? Come down here to the bottom of your file and go to sheet 1. All of your sheet information's there, okay? Everything's just under copy of sample grades. Can I rename this? I can. So if I just put sample grades or rename it to, whatever I want, I can do that. Right here, here's the chart 1. It's on its own sheet. So I can just look at this chart without having the spreadsheet right there. Or if it's, if I have a lot of data on that spreadsheet, I don't want it covering any of it. Again, I've got a menu bar up here that I can manipulate this chart. I also have other options over here of what I can do with this chart. Down here, do you see I also have the drop down arrow? I can rename it. I can change color, protect the sheet, hide the sheet. So if I share this file with someone, but for some reason I don't want them to see this chart, I could hide it if I would want. Again, I can delete or duplicate it. Same thing, another thing down here, I can, drag this and move it around. You can do that here from the arrow, move it to the right, move it to the left if, it's to the right of it. I can add another sheet right here. And all of these sheets are under this file name, sample grade. So you can have several different sheets, several different charts in one file. And you just come down here to take a look. Again, to prep you for the exam, take a look at slide 36 to go over the Sheets challenge. But I went ahead and put Google Forms and Sheets together because, again, any Google form that you have created and people answer, you can have it turn it into a sheet, and then you can view the responses in the sheet. For me, that's how I usually look at the Google form, so I can just look at all of the data. But for some reason, there might be times that you want to look at the data here in the Google Forms, and you can do that from the summary question and the individual tabs here as well. So take a deep breath. Yes, this was a lot. Again, we have spent, dedicated just 2 hours to 3 hours just on Google Forms itself. So again, this is just prepping you for the exam. We are going to take a break here. Again, during the break, here I've got some links here. Check out some things from Google. If not, you can check them out later on. And then when we come back, we will finish talking about these apps and talking about the exam. So let's go ahead and do 8 minutes. We'll be back at 10:40.
Lisa, can I ask you a question real quick? It's
Yes.
Stephanie.
Yeah, hi, Stephanie.
I was trying to do the challenges.
All right, so let me go ahead and share my screen here, and we will go on and talk about some of the other apps. So as you can see, some of these apps work together, and I did talk about Google Meets a little bit with the calendar and with Classroom. I will tell you, that is how I mainly do a Google Meet anymore. I don't usually go to the app and create a Meet link from there. Earlier, you saw me using Google Chat with a colleague of mine trying to help get some people into this Zoom meeting today. So again, you can go to Calendar and create a Google Meet right from Calendar. If you don't have that available to you, you may have to have your Google admin turn that on the back end. But here's, you can add video conferencing right here for a Google Meet and send that out to guests. In the beginning of when we were using Google Meets to meet with students, usually teachers were sending it out at the 10, 15 minutes before the class was to start. You don't have to do that anymore. You can go right to Classroom, and from class, you can just click on that link here as long as you have enabled that. And remember, I think if someone wants to, I don't want to talk about this too much if I shared it yesterday, that with the Google Meet, that the kids can go to this link, but they can't join until the teacher's in. Did I show that yesterday with you guys? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Perfect, thank you. So again, if you need to see that, you can look back at the video, or I can show you at the end if you want me a refresher on that as well. But you could just, again, click on this new tab over here, and I can go to the Google Meet right here. Again, I usually don't go to the app for the Google Meet, and I can either join or start a meeting right here. Usually if I want to join a meeting, the link was sent to me via email or through my calendar, so I can click on it there. And then also, you saw I had chat opened earlier, and chat, again, some school districts might have this turned off, so if you don't see it, don't panic. But here's my chat. I can go into that, and we've got it turned on so that I can chat with employees from the LTC, since we're all throughout the state. So that's how I usually keep my chat open. And you saw my chat in my, I do have it, it does pop up if I'm in my email, if someone sent me a message, but my chat's right there. I've got the different people, and then we've got different rooms within chat. When you are in a Google Meet, you can share your screen. And also, if you see on slide 39, I went ahead and put other extensions out there. Do you need to know this for the exam? You don't, but I've been doing some workshops with Google Meet and got some extensions out there. And then again, I did see yesterday that Google Meet is, I think there's 6 new additions or changes that they're making to Google Meet. So I don't know if they're rolled out now or will be rolled out here probably by the time school starts again in August, that we may see a few changes in Google Meet. So if anybody else has seen that, feel free to speak up about it. I just haven't had time to read about the new additions and changes they made with Google Meet. Any questions about Google Meet? here in my email, this is something new that they pushed out too, that I can start a meeting right from my Gmail, start a meeting or join a meeting as well. Again, this was new maybe as of April or May. I just haven't used this before. So, but that is another option. So again, that's what, it might drive some of you nuts out there, all these different ways to access this, but again, it allows for differentiation and realizes that our brains are set up differently, that are thinking of where things should be. Again, multiple places to find them. All right, we will go into YouTube here. YouTube, I will tell you as a teacher, I didn't use it as efficiently as I could have. I didn't know much about it and I didn't use it that much. I have, over the past few years, have learned so much about YouTube. So a couple things here. So if I go to a new tab, Google does own YouTube now. If anybody wants to put in chat how much Google bought YouTube for, or what year it was, feel free to put that in chat if you know that information. It's always interesting to see. I can, again, come over here to my waffle and go to YouTube. Do I have to? I don't. I can just go to youtube.com and it brings it up. If you haven't, so when it brings up YouTube, it brings up my homepage. Homepage is just recommendations that they've got out there of different videos that they pushed out. Again, sometimes it's, they have, you know, an algorithm to push out different things out there, maybe based off of searches or links you've clicked on. If you come up here to your Google account and click on either your picture or your initial, whatever is there for your Google account, if it says, I think, does it say activate your channel now or create your channel? Create a channel now. So you'll want to create your channel if you haven't already done so. And don't panic. Again, like I said, as a teacher, I didn't utilize YouTube as much as I should have, maybe, just because I didn't know about it. And maybe it's just over the years, there's just more, we have more access to it and more videos out there to use. So where do you create your channel? Should be over here under your icon of your Google account. And it could be your picture and or your initials, and then create your channel. Once you've got your channel created, I think there's some steps that, you know, you have to, there's some questions to answer. But how YouTube set up is here, I've got a library of different videos out there. Here's what my history is. Here's what I want to watch later. Here's playlists that are out there, some liked videos. So I can go there to my library. Do I usually go to my library? I usually don't go to this tab to get, you know, access the videos. Again, I can go to history here as well. I can go to my videos here. So you should have a link to my channel here, and you can subscribe to it if you want. When you subscribe to any channel out there, it just will give you notifications when new videos are posted to it. So as you can see, I'm not a big YouTuber. I've just started putting the workshop recordings out there since many teachers are trying to learn at the same time of having kids or adults in the background and realizing that they needed access to go back to it later if they need to. So that's why we've started recording them and then pushing them out for people to access. So you can subscribe if you want to get notifications anytime that I put any new material out there. And so just to subscribe, so let me just go to Jerry Brooks here and I'll show you. So I've subscribed to him. And again, I get notifications when he puts, you know, new videos out here. If after you hit subscribe, let's say later on you want to unsubscribe, you can and hit unsubscribe. But for some of these famous YouTubers out there, this subscription means a lot to them, because right here, Jerry has over 153,000 subscribers. Then, you know, if I was a famous YouTuber and trying to make money, I can show, the companies that I'm trying to pay me for some advertisements or for me to talk about their product in my videos. They can see how many people subscribe to my channel. They can also, there's a lot of analytics and data out there that they can get as well too, and not just from the subscriptions, but just, you can subscribe here. What I like about Watch Later, so let's say I just click on this video here. This is why I was hoping an ad wouldn't pop up. Any video you like and you want to show it in your classroom, if you add it into a Google Slides, a Google Form, Google Sites, it won't show ads and it won't play another video after that video is done. So that's what's nice about it, because sometimes the ads or advertisements off to the side maybe might not be the most appropriate for the classroom or for the age of kids you teach. So let's say on this video, instead of me clicking on it and starting to play it, if I click on this clock right here, Watch Later, this is a built-in bookmark. So if I want to see, oh yeah, this is a video I want to look at later, I just don't have time, I can click on Watch Later. And what that will do, then it will put it, kind of bookmarks it into your Watch Later file. So here I've got 72 videos. Again, most of the time my Watch Later are the videos I just click on during workshops to show you what the Watch Later does. I can go and delete the videos at any time. I can remove them from my Watch Later file. I can move them to the top, to the bottom. I can even save them to a playlist if I want. But right now they are all here in my Watch Later file. So if I look right down here, these are some playlists I have. So I have Google Trainer videos here. So if you're wanting to become a Google Trainer, once you get your Google Level 1 and Level 2 certification, the next step is becoming a Google Trainer. But there's lots of Google Trainer videos out there, so I created a playlist. How do you create a playlist? Great question. So I will show you that here in a second. The Google Workshops here, I created a playlist with the Google Workshops. You can create any playlist that you want and put videos in there. Think of playlists as a folder, again, organizing by the title of the playlist. So here I just created a playlist called Funny Videos, and you can put videos in here. Again, some of the stuff I just create for different workshops to show you some information out there. So if I go back to home, and I'll just pick here, Jerry Brooks here. If I want this video of his, okay. So if I click on these three dots without going into the video, again, click on the three dots, I can save it to watch later, save to playlist, and then there's some other options here I've got. But right now, if I want to hit it, save to playlist, here's what I can do. So here's the playlist I have. So if I want to put it to funny videos, it says add it to funny videos. If I want to undo it, I can hit undo or just uncheck it and it's gone. It's not there. Okay. Or if I don't see a playlist that I've created already, I can come down here and create new playlist. So again, multiple different ways to create a new playlist. You can do it right here from the video if you would like, and create a playlist that way and put it in a playlist you've already got, or you can create a new one. And you can do that for any of the videos that you see out there. And then once you have the playlist and you want to share that playlist out, let me go to the funny videos one. So I've got, all of these videos in here. And if I want to have the kids to watch this playlist and I want them to watch it in a certain order, I can go here and click on the videos and I can move them up and down. I can put them in different orders if I want. Right now, when I created this playlist, I put it public. Again, you have the choice of, making it unlisted or private. And then again, I can shuffle play, I can share this whole playlist. And then I've got three dots here. I can add other videos to this playlist. I can even add a collaborator. So if another teacher and I are finding different videos out there for a certain topic that we're covering in class, we can both collaborate on a playlist and add videos if we so choose. If I click on playlist settings, I'm allowing embedding if I want, and then do I want to add new videos to the top of the playlist? If I do, I turn that on. If I don't, that's fine. And then also I have advanced settings here. So here it lets me know of all of the videos in this playlist. And again, it's kind of some of the same things we just saw, but in a different format that it shows you. You know, here's the playlist privacy public. I can change it here again. Auto add. I can add a rule of automatically adding videos to this if I want. And then here's collaborators. I can turn collaborators on or off, and then I can invite collaborators to this playlist. So then once I'm at this playlist here, again, I can name the playlist, I can edit the title, I can even put a description here. But if I want to share this out with the students, I can share it out. Here's a copy. I hit copy, and here's a link to the playlist. It's not just to one video, it's a link to all of these videos here. And then I can share that link to the students, whether it's in Google Classroom or email or Google Sites. So again, for the YouTube challenge, take a look at slide 41 to go through and practice creating a playlist, sharing it, and subscribing to a YouTube channel. Again, do you have to do these? No, just kind of walk through them to make sure you do understand it. Again, it depends on your background knowledge. If you've used YouTube before, if this is one of the first times getting into YouTube, you might want to spend a little bit more time with it. And feel free to go back and rewatch what I've talked about here about YouTube. Any general questions on YouTube? So to get the videos of this workshop, I have a link to my channel on slide 2, my YouTube channel. If you click on that, it should take you to my YouTube channel. And then you again have the option to subscribe if you want. And that will give you notifications when I upload. And then also don't forget, I had my recording stop yesterday when I restarted my Google Chrome. So I need to get the rest of the video from yesterday uploaded here, but then I'll put, again, at the end of the day, get the one from today uploaded here. And then you can go back and access all of the videos here on my YouTube channel. I usually have set them all to public. If for some reason you see one and you don't have access to it, let me know, because I've got my settings wrong. Another thing, so if you want to upload, some of you guys are doing screencast out there of, recording things and pushing out videos of yourself that you're teaching your students. All you have to do to upload is come up here to create a video or a post and upload the video. And you can drag or drop it or go to wherever the video is and select it from the file. Or, if this is the video right here at the bottom of the screen, I can just drag and drop it here. So, or I can go to select files, and again, if I've got it in my downloads or my Google Drive, wherever my screencasts are, and whatever software I'm using, I can upload any of those in here so that they could access the videos here from your YouTube channel. So here, as you can see, I can double check, okay, I've made these public. I've got it, everyone can see this video if they want. Again, I'm new to putting videos out there on YouTube, and in the beginning, just random people have been putting comments out there that just say, I like you, just weird things. You can disable comments if you want as well. so that, you know, you don't get that. But again, I'm not going to be right now I have no plans of becoming a famous YouTuber. So I haven't been paying attention to this. There's a way you can report comments and delete comments as well. So again, there's analytics. So if you look at analytics of a video, you can see who's watching it, their view time. Like this one video I have, if you are, I will tell you this, if you are creating videos for your students, the shorter the videos, the better, depending on the topic. What do I mean by that? If you can break it down, like if you're using Screencastify and you're using the free version, you can only do, I think, up to 5 minutes at a time. And some people say, oh, I want to do a 10-minute video. Well, if there's any way you can break it down and you've got the free version, you can do a 5-minute video, stop it, and then maybe do another video if it's covering the same material. Because think about it, when you're wanting to learn something new and you go out there and look for videos to learn about it, are you going to watch a 20-minute video or maybe a 5-minute video? Again, you might click on the 5-minute video. It might not get you the information you need, and you might look at that 20-minute video, but you'll learn over time that with students, the shorter the video, the better, or chunk them. So on one of my videos here, it is recovering a deleted Zoom meeting. It is just what, a minute, 32 seconds. I've got over 1,300 views for that. Why? It's short, it's to the point, it's what they are needing to know at that time. And isn't that how we learn anymore? When we need to know it, we'll go out and find information on how to learn that. And if you don't have a teacher next door, you can ask, or even if you do and they don't know and you guys are collaborating on learning something new, you might Google it and see if there's a video out there of someone explaining it. So anyway, you know, if you do throw it out there to your YouTube channel, then you can have all this data here that you can share with your administration and show them, hey, the kids are watching these videos. This is how they're learning some of their content for the class, whether it's during remote learning time or even if we're back face-to-face. And think about, like, you know, we got feedback from these workshops that, hey, they would like the recording to go back to. We weren't recording these in the beginning, way back in March. And in April, I think maybe we started recording in May because, again, many of you are trying to juggle, trying to learn and have, you know, kids or adults or whoever, pets in the background, taking some of your time during this workshop as well. So you can maybe skip and jump around, fast forward in this recording to go to what you need to learn about. So we're noticing then kids are using YouTube too. So then you can have all of this data here to share. Another way, you know, to reach both the students and the administration to show how people, whether it's kids or teachers, learning during this time. All right. Any general questions on YouTube? All right, great question, Brandy. I just checking in chat. Have you add collaborators on YouTube? So when you are in a playlist, here's one way to do it, that you can come here to the 3 dots. So I went to the funny videos and I can put a collaborator here, and collaborators can add videos to this playlist, and then I can allow new collaborators, and then I just share this link to invite collaborators. So I can copy it and then I can put it in an email to send them. So great question. But again, prep for the exam, look at slide 41 to help you out. There's still a lot more to learn about YouTube, but look over slide 41 for the challenge. All right, the next thing, Google Sites. I remember when I first started learning this with my students that I wanted to have the kids create a Google site as a portfolio for all of their classwork so that they would have it to take with them after they ended my class. So the class that we used a portfolio on was the class I created, or the kids created apps. It was the MIT App Inventor. We used that software, and the kids then created apps based off of that. So then what they could do, they could take a snippet of that app, write a description, talk about it, and we put it all in Google Sites. So Google Sites, it's a web page. So it's where they, they can publish it if they want. So let me just go ahead and get into Google Sites and talk about some of these features here. So again, how do you go to Google Sites? You can type in sites.new. It takes you right to a new site, or I can come over here to the waffle, go to Sites, and when it takes me to the app, it's a little bit different than some of the other apps out there as far as the interface here in the beginning. And I can go ahead and click on New Google Sites. If I want, I've got some other links here. I can hit Create here as well. When I hit Create, I've got new sites or classic sites. Why the new sites is recommended is because they're changing it. I think they've said they are changing it for at least, I want to say, the last 2 years. I thought they were doing away with the classic sites a while back, but they still have that as an option. So if you're creating a new site for the first time, go to New Sites. Go to the recommended part. And then it'll create a new site here for me. If I want to look at all of the sites that I've created, again, I can go to my Google Drive and I can create a filter, and I can go to sites. I want all the sites that are owned by me, and I can see all of the sites that I've created out there. Again, majority of these sites are sites that I've created in workshops. So to give you a quick overview of sites, I can put a page title here. So some people might put, their name, or if they teach different subjects, whatever it may be, I'll just go ahead and put my name right here. I can enter the site name here if I just want to put Schwartz. And what's nice, when I put Schwartz there, then it comes up here. And then again, all changes are saved automatically in my drive. So here's my blank canvas. If I want to, I'll jump here to the themes. I can change the theme, the colors, the font right here under themes. If I want a different color, click on the paint bucket, and I can choose, if I know the, is it the RGB number? I can put that here as well. And then, if I like what they've got, I can just leave this alone. If not, I can change it to whatever I want, change the font. Again, there's different font styles, so you've got some other choices here depending on which theme you've chosen. Okay. Then the other tabs here you've got are pages. I can create pages off of this. It's just like when you're on a web page and you click on a link, it goes to another page within this site. And then what can I put on this site? If I go to insert, I have all of these options here. I can insert text boxes, images, I can embed. So here I can even embed a playlist on here for the students to be able to access. I can even insert things from my drive. I can, insert buttons, dividers. So I don't know if any of you have, back in the day, many years ago, if you used Front Page or you had to know HTML code to create web pages, this is so much easier. I can insert YouTube videos in here as well. Again, what's nice about that, it doesn't play ads, it doesn't play other videos at the end. I can even insert a calendar in here. So if I want to insert a calendar from one of my Google classes, I can click on my calendars, hit insert. And what's nice about that, then here's yet another way that the students can see what's due. Now you might be asking or stressing out like, oh, this is another app. Do I need to use this? No, you don't. Again, I'm just prepping you for the exam and just making you aware of this other app that Google has out there for you. And it's just another way to disseminate information. Since Google Classroom came around, some teachers who use Google Sites no longer use Google Sites. Some educators who might not see all of their kids every day, or if they're a counselor or a therapist, they may have a Google site for themselves just to disseminate different information out there for the teachers or the parents and or students to access, because they might not have their own Google Classroom, because some school districts might not have a therapist that has a Google account within the school's Google domain, because they may work at several different school districts. So there's multiple ways. You know, some teachers still do have a Google site just to disseminate information out there, and another place for parents or students to get information. But here is where I can put the Google Calendar here from my Google Classroom. Again, as you saw, I could choose any of them. If I go to insert YouTube, again, I can do a video search, and I'll just put Jerry Brooks here and look for a video that I want. I'll click that one, hit select, and so then it puts a video there. If I want, I can click on, do you see how my mouse changes over here to the left-hand side? If I click on that, I can drag it here, up and down. I guess that lets me drag it below if I want it to go below or go up. There we go. I can, if I want to move it to the right or the left, I can just click on the actual video and I can move it to the right of the calendar. So do you see how I just clicked on the video and I can move it? So you can rearrange things by selecting, you know, clicking on the calendar or the video here. Or if I wanted to, you know, move it up or down, I can come over here and click on this section, and how my mouse changed. Is it 8 dots or 10 dots there? You know, select that. Have you ever seen someone shared a Google Doc here, and they can scroll up and down on the site with that Google Doc? So sometimes teachers would share their syllabus here, and if they shared that, let me just share this document here so you can take a look at it. So if I want to see what this looks like, if I come up here to this preview, it looks like a computer screen and then maybe like a little phone. If I click on preview, I have choices of how I want it to look at the previews. Right now, I'm looking at it by a computer. So if someone's previewing this on a computer, this is what it's going to look like. So here's what the Google Doc will look like. They can scroll down through it to see what's all on that Google Doc. If they want to put it to a new tab, they can. This is the video. They can play the video from here. Here's a Google Calendar. They can go through the Google Calendar and see what's due for that class. If I click here, if they're on a tablet, this is what it's going to look like on a tablet. If I click on phone, this is what it's going to look like on the phone. So then if I want to get out of preview, click the X and I can get out of the preview. So as you can see, I can add almost everything to Google Sites. Again, I've got different layouts to choose from if I want it organized a certain way. But if I come up here to pages, so if I want, let's say this is my main page, and then I want a page if I'm teaching geography. Click on the 3 dots here, and I can add a sub-page. So if I want to name this geography or resources, whatever it may be, click on it, hit done. And here I've got a new page it created for me. It put it as the title. If I come back over here, I can go back to home. If I'm at home, click on the arrow, it shows I can go to geography there. Over here, I can switch it back and forth too, but this is how it's set up. I can do another sub-page off of geography, or I can even do another sub-page off of home. So again, click on the 3 dots and you've got other choices here. If for some reason, if you want to hide a page from navigation, you can. If you don't want people to be able to see everything that you put out there and have something on the Google site, but hide it from navigation, you can. You can make this the home page if I want the geography one homepage. So again, the 3 dots, you've got more options there. If I come up here to the gear, to the settings, again, I've got navigation. I've got it from the top. I can put it from the side. You know, again, click on these different things to see what happens. One new thing that just came out again in the last, I want to say back in May, is this announcement banner. Especially, you know, during this pandemic, we're seeing different businesses have announcements at the top of their webpage saying, if, you know, if they're closed, or to call before you come or make an appointment, whatever it may be. And that's kind of what this announcement banner is similar to, that you could have the banner shown at the top of the page, and you can put whatever message in there that you want. I'll just put the word stop. Again, I can choose the banner color. I can put a button there if I want. I could link it to something else. I could put it just on home page only or all pages. And then that's the banner that'll show up there. Again, if you want to send out a message. Again, when you put a banner here over to the left-hand side, you also have the gear that comes up. It's the same gear that's over here. You can turn off that banner at any time, and then it goes away. So again, things are pushed out. Sometimes when new tools are pushed out, it'll say new to the right of it. Sometimes you might not notice that, and notice things when you go into the app the next time. Kind of similar to that Gmail. When I went into settings this morning, that was different than how it was yesterday. Also, I can click 3 dots here. I can do version, look at the version history. I can duplicate site. If I want to learn more about Google Sites, take a tour. And then also I have publish. So you can, again, depending on what your district's policy is, if the teacher can publish a site out there for anyone to access, or who can view my site. Is it just people within, in my case, the Learning Technology Center, in your case, within your school district? If I go to manage here, again, I can get a link to my site, and I've got some choices here. So again, the students can create sites, but we just didn't publish them. Can you? You know, check with your district policy about publishing, you know, sites, and, you know, what can be on that site that the students can publish, to check that out. But right here, here's my web address. It just took the name of my title that was available here, and it created a web address here for me. So if I want, I can publish it. If at any time, if you publish it, you can unpublish it as well. So just know that if you come up here, you got some other options. You can, if you hit share with others here, it's the same thing under what I had under publish. I can share with others. So if I want to just share with other teachers or students, I can do that as well. And then here, there's a gear of where if I do share with them and they're an editor, can they publish, change permissions, and add new people? They can, unless if you check that, and then they can't do that. So you have that option to check that or uncheck that.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
For Google Sites, if you don't publish it, it just saves in your drive?
Yeah.
Okay. And then, but when it's published, does anyone have access to it, or is it something that I have to like send that link out to whomever I want to have it?
Yeah. Is this Elizabeth talking?
Yeah.
Yeah, great question, Elizabeth. So right now, if I publish this site, anyone can view it at the Learning Technology Center. You wouldn't be able to, because you weren't in our Google domain. If I want to change that, I can change my link where only people added can open with this link, or published at the LTC, or I can have it public. So you do have some choice over that. Yeah. Is that what you're asking, Elizabeth?
Yeah.
Okay. Great
Thank you.
question. Yeah. So, you know, if I do put anyone with the link, I can put it where anyone on the internet with this link can edit, which that would be a big no-no. But just know that, you know, go and check your links and how you've got them set up here before you publish. Any other questions on Google Sites? Oh, did someone say, can everybody hear me okay, or was I having issues? If anybody wants to unmute. Did I have a bad internet connection? No, you heard me fine? Okay. If you missed something, you know, again, I know some people said they were kicked out or have bad internet connection. Again, that's why I am trying to have this recorded that you can access it later. Here on slide 43, you know, feel free, go take a look at the challenge here on Google Sites and see if you know how to do that. And even if you don't plan on taking the exam, that's okay. I know I've had participants before, just this is how they learn some new things. So again, I don't want to stress anyone out there. So the next app we're going to talk about is Google Groups. I will tell you, this is one I usually don't run myself. I am, I don't create myself. I created a couple, I guess. I am part of a few Google Groups, and I'll talk about being a part of a group, and but I will also talk about how setting it up. So here in Google Groups, again, it's another app. Do you have to use them? No, it's just yet another resource out there. If this is something that fits your needs, you have this available to you. You have 4 different types of groups that you can choose from. You can make your group an email list, a web forum, just a question and answer, or a collaborative inbox. So how do I get to groups? Again, go up here to the new tab, and let me close some of these tabs. Go here to the waffle, and I can go to groups. I can also go groups.google.com. And here within the, LTC, let's see. Okay, let me, this interface changed a little bit too, I think, yeah. Okay, yeah, it did change. I like it better. It's similar to how Calendar is. And kind of, yeah, similar to Calendar where it's, yeah, create group. So right here, I can create a group. If you see with the LTC, they've turned it off. So if I would want access to it, I would have to email our Google admin person to turn it on. I don't have a reason to have this except for training purposes. So what I've done, I'll go over to my personal account, and I'll go to Google Groups that way. So again, another way, I could go groups.google.com. So, okay, so this is what I'm used to. So do you see, I've got 2 different accounts. This is my personal account, that was my work account, and the interface is different. So again, sometimes they push out updates. Not always everyone gets them at the same time. And just kind of like with that Gmail, my settings might have looked different than some of yours. Again, pushed out some new updates out there. So here I create group. As you saw on my work account, if I had access to create a group, it looked similar to, you know, the calendar page, the plus sign. So if I go here and create a group, what groups basically is just a way to communicate, to mass communicate information with the same with a group of people. So whether if it's your parents this year, you want to create a group for, you can, and you can create a group name. So if you want to just put 20, well, let me click on that, 2020 2021 parents. So then what it does, my group email address, it creates the email address, and then on the back end, I create it up there. I can put a group description here if I want. Group's primary language is English. Here's a big thing in the classroom. If kids say, oh, Mrs. Schwartz, I can't do my work, this is in Japanese. On all of the settings in the apps, they can change the language. So again, you know, sometimes I would say, oh, that's so cool. You want to teach the class how you did that. And then that makes them feel good. And then that trick isn't, you know, they can't do that trick anymore. And then they move on to another trick. But that's how I worked with some of the students that kind of had free time on their hands and learned to manipulate some of the apps. They learned by going into settings that they could change things. It always made them feel good to be able to teach the class how they were able to change some of the things within the apps. So right here, group type, here's where I selected group type. I can do an email list, web forum, Q&A forum. So I want to go ahead and do email list so that I can email information out to the parents. And what's nice about this, when you do an email list, it also lets them post from the web or through email. So there's going to be a website, as you saw. No, I haven't shown you that. It's here in the next one, that they can post through, and they can see everything on the web. So if you don't like going back through your email to see everything, you can switch over to the website of it to see what people have posted and commented. And I'll show you that. Basic permissions. Again, right here, the group visibility. Do you want everyone on the web to see this? Or do you want just all members of the group? With this group of parents, I just want members of the group. So not everyone on the web, they can't search this and find this information. So I'll change that to members of the group. View topics. Again, what do I want them allowed to do? Do I want them to see the topics, the managers and the members? Yes. And the owners? Yeah. Again, I don't want anyone on the web to see the topics. Post, who do I want to allow to post? Kind of similar to Google Classroom about, you know, on the stream, do you want kids to be able to post on the stream? Here, same thing within the groups. Do you want them to be able to post? Again, I allow anybody who's a member of this group to post, but you do have rights over that if you don't want them to be able to post. And then join the group. Select who can join. Again, anyone can ask, or anyone on the web, or only invited users. For this one, I only want invited users. It's going to be my parents of my class this year. So once I have that set up, I can go and create. Now, can I go back in and change that at any time? I can. So let me click on I'm not a robot here and hit continue. And it says, congratulations, your group has been created. And so here I can invite people. I can customize my group settings. So I can go back in and change my settings. If I so choose, you know, if after some time that I don't want members to be able to post, I can turn that off. And then I can also add a topic here and start posting. So here's what I've got. If I want to start a new topic, I can from here. If I want to add a welcome message and add members from here, I can. So if I want to come over here, manage my group, I click on manage my group. It comes back to where I was earlier. And again, I can change some of these settings here. I can also come over here to permissions and go back to basic permissions and change that. It's the same thing. It just looks a little bit different now since I've created the group. Let me go to members here. Again, I can see all members. Right now, the only member is me since I created it. If I want, I can click on invite members here, or if I go back here, I can manage members here. And I guess go over here and invite members. Here, enter email addresses of people to invite. A while back, we were, a teacher was putting in their students into a Google group because they want to communicate with their students in this Google group, just another way to communicate with them. What we found, they could only put in was it 10 students at a time? And then give them a message here. So I don't know if that's changed, but let's say you try to put 11 students in, it may give you an error. So put it back to 10. Can you go ahead and add all 30 of your students? You can, but what we found out was we were only able to add 10 at a time for some reason. So I haven't tried it lately to see if that's changed, or if for some reason we were doing something wrong. So then, put their emails in here. Let me go ahead and put, oops. I can put my work account here, and then write an invitation. I can say, please join the parent group and explain more. Oh, there we go. Whatever message I want to put here, I can. And then I can send invites. So then, again, we'll get an invite at that email account to join if I want. And I will have to accept that if I want. Join request right here. Anyone who requests to join, then it's pending. It shows me date applied, and then I can accept them. Here's right here, if outstanding invitations that I've sent that people haven't accepted. So right here, I've sent an invite. The invitation is pending. They have to go in and accept that. So let me show you. I'm part of a Google Trainer group, and they use Google Groups to give messages here for us. And if I go up here to forms, right here I can go into this message. Someone just posted today that they were having issues with Google Meet today. This came through email. If I look down here at the email to unsubscribe from this group or stop receiving emails, because I will tell you with this group, I receive tons of emails. I don't even have a chance to go through all of them. I can click on here to unsubscribe. If you see right here, I can view this discussion on the web. So if I click on that link, then I can see the discussion on the web site. So here's the discussion for that link. If I come over here to my Google group, this is the Google group that I'm in. It's Google for Education Certified Trainers. So again, if any of you out there are interested in becoming a trainer, let me know. I got a couple workshops on that to help you through the process. But then here, I've got some different links here. I can get resources if I need to. I don't think I utilize this to the potential that I could, but here's some Google apps. So I can come down here to calendar, and here's some posts of people maybe posting messages or saying, they're having error messages, seeing if there's anybody out there to help. So it's kind of, if any of you have joined a listserv, and or what's been so popular these days is what Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, how people are posting a lot of resources that they're creating, sharing it out, or posting also to, ask questions. Oh, I'm creating this Google form and it's not going to another section. What do I need to do? So it's very similar to that, if that helps you any.
Lisa, can you turn on email notifications for these so that people are posting on here, or how do you know to check this page?
I get an email. I've set up my email to have it go to forums. And so up here until, do you see where this one says 38 new? It would have said 50 new. Or whatever here, so I'll know that there's new emails there. I had them coming in my inbox, and that was just, there's so much. As you can see, this is my personal. Again, that's where I've learned sometimes I don't take the time in my email to organize it all. That's why I like creating the labels, especially in my work account. But yeah, you'll get notifications. It'll just come up like it's a new email. Do I have to put them in forums here? I don't. I can put them in a label. too. I can do a filter and put them in a label as well. And see right here, it just shows the group that I just created. And then on my side of my work account, then I can go to my email and it says, hey, you got an invitation here for the to join this group. So yeah, great question. Carly, did I answer your question?
Yeah, there's also another question. Do invitees need a Gmail account?
Oh, good question. I don't know that answer off of the top of my head. We can try it out here. So if I want to invite members, here's a Yahoo account. Yeah, so yeah, it looked like I could send it to a Yahoo account. So to answer that question, it doesn't look like you have to be a Google account. You don't have to have a Google email. Great questions. See, that's why I love questions, because then I'm, get to learn as well. Again, if you want a refresher on Google Group, I have a colleague, Ben, who created a Google Group video, and I shared it here on slide 45 if you want to take a look at it. Next thing I want to talk about is Google Keep. With Google Keep, do you see over here to the right-hand side, I've got different apps here that I can open up. So I'm in Google Slides right now. If I wanted to, I could open up my calendar here on the right-hand side. I can also open up Google Keep. You might be asking yourself, what is Google Keep? We'll go over that here in a second. And then I also have Task. So Task, again, I started to use Task a while back, but I found I didn't end up usually going to Task to find what I need to do. But I've got these three apps that are integrated right there on the screen of whether I'm in Slides or if I'm in my email, you can see it right here. And in my email as well, I've got Tasks there listed as and Keep. So what is Google Keep? It's just basically, if you want to look at it as a bulletin board. So I can go to Google Keep from different apps within the G Suite Apps for Education. I can come up here, click on a new tab, and I can go to Google Keep this way. It's just another way to keep information. It kind of looks like little sticky notes here. And you can take a note up here. That note you can turn into a checklist. I put my signature here so that if I need to put it on some documents, I've got it here. I pinned it to the top. I also have it down here, but in case if that would get lost and everything, I've got it pinned to the top. If you see, I've got some pictures in here. I can also put a GIF. Maybe some of you are feeling like this right now. Again, that is totally normal, but just know that you can, whether reaching out to me or other people in our workshop today, to help you out. We're all on this journey together. You're not going alone. So again, I can take a note here. I can color code it. I can remind me, do a notification. If you kind of come over here, same thing, you can put Google Notes in like a label here. I can edit my labels. Again, the only label I've got is the Google Notes, but you can create new labels. Again, kind of similar to labels in Gmail. And think of the labels like a folder. That's how I've got it in my head to organize it. It's kind of like folders. If someone else has another way, please put it in chat and let me know how else you think of labels. Again, I can archive it just like I can archive a Google Classroom. I can even archive emails, or I can even trash it. So again, I've got the 3 lines here for the main menu. I've got a gear here for settings. I can even enable a dark theme, see some shortcuts. And one new thing about Google Keep is there's an extension called, I think, is it Google Keep extension, or Save to Keep, excuse me. It's called Save to Keep. So what that extension allows you to do is, let's say you're on a website and you want to save this website for later on. What I like about Keep, you know how yesterday I showed you how you could bookmark a website to save for later on? Well, Save to Keep is, if you click on Save to Keep, what it does is it will save the website, link it in Google Keep for me, and I can take a note here. I can say, oh, check out other workshops here from this site, and it's saving automatically. So again, that was adding the Save to Keep extension, and it will save any website. So then I've got this one. If I go over here to my Google Keep, look, automatically, it's got the website here, and it's got a note here for me, check out other workshops, because I don't know about you, but if I find a site I like, I might bookmark it and forget about it. Here, or I might bookmark it and think, why did I save this site again? Why did I bookmark it? Here, then I can save it to Keep and then put a note underneath it to refresh my memory. Yeah, I love that. You can stop emailing yourself the million websites that you find. So again, multiple ways to do the same thing out there. Some people might be overwhelmed with all of these apps, but you know, try them out, see what works for you. Some people might like Keep, some people might not. It's fine. Again, all of our brains are different, but hopefully it just helps the learning, whether it's you as a teacher learning or you share the information with your students about these different apps out there. Again, do you have to know everything about these apps to share them with your students? No, if you kind of just introduce them, you know, even do a quick video. If, you know, if we do have remote learning again, my suggestion, you know, chunk your videos that they're not so long in the beginning, because then you'll be more apt, the students will be more apt to at least watch part of it, rather than if they see a 20-30 minute video, they may not even try to play it in the beginning, but they may try and look at a video that might be 2 minutes long, 4 minutes long. Again, that's just based off of my experience with students and even adults. All right, a couple other slides here. Just know about digital citizenship. You know, take time to look at the Google Teacher Education Center to go through some of that. And I'm going to jump over to that and explain that, and then explain about registering for the exam. But before I do that, any general questions, comments? Is your brain fried? Are you like that guy in that picture that, you know, hitting your head against the desk right here, whatever it may be? That is perfectly normal. Reach out to us, reach out to me. We'll help you along your journey of this Google Level 1 certification, if that's what you choose to do. I'll be quiet for a minute here. Any questions or comments?
Lisa?
Yeah.
Becky.
Hi,
Is
Becky.
there a way to, like in the waffle, like I don't have forms or sites or certain ones that you've mentioned that are not in the waffle, so I have to go in. Is there a way to add them to that?
If you don't have access to them at all, your Google admin will have to
Okay.
turn it on the back end and give you access to it. Because I do know, like, a lot of school districts might turn off Hangouts or chat.
Right.
So just talk with your, you know, whether it's if it's a tech person or your physical administrator at your building who's the Google admin, talk to them, see.
Yeah. I don't even have it on my home account, so.
Then scroll down here and go more from G Suite Marketplace.
Okay.
And if you click on that, then search the app and see if you can
add it.
and get it that way.
Okay.
Then if it's your personal account, and see. If not,
I mean,
Becky,
I know I can go into it, but it's just easier to click on the waffle and be done.
yeah.
So, okay, I'll play with it. Thank you.
Okay, play, and if you need to, please reach out and I can help you some more.
All right, thank you.
All right, so, all right, well, thanks Teresa for sharing that, but glad that Andy's on here with us, that he's a coworker of yours that will help you out. And that's, you know, how it is, that it's constantly changing. It's good to have a group of people, your tribe, you know, to help you on your learning path. And, you know, if you don't have other teachers, use your students, have your students help you, you know, be learners together as well. Or you've got me, you can always email me and I can help you out as well, or join us in these workshops, because we will continue online workshops as much as we can. And then whenever we can, we will start in-person workshops again as well. So I'm going to switch gears and talk more about the Google Education Teacher Center and registering for the exam. You do have permission. If you don't want to register for the exam or learn about the Teacher Center, and you know, if this has been a lot for you, you've done a lot the past 2 days, I appreciate you being with us, and you can leave us, that's fine. If you do leave us, if you could go to slide 53, or I think it's on slide 2 as well, do the evaluation for me. I think it's 3 questions. And then if you do want to take the Google Level 1 exam, fill out this voucher form and we'll get a voucher for you so that you can take the Google Level 1 exam for free. So
Hey, Lisa, I'm sorry.
You're fine, Carly.
I had gotten an email about a Google an evaluation, but it was specifically for the thing we're in part 1. Do I have to do those twice, or?
So if the ROE, I think they set it up as 2 separate training events. So if you need your PD hours from yesterday, I think you will have to fill out that evaluation from yesterday. Then they'll send you the evidence of completion, and then they'll do the same thing today. On it, with the hiccup of people getting logged in today, I don't know how they have it set up. My suggestion, if you got an email from them yesterday and you get an email from them today for their ISB evaluation, fill them both out, so then you get your 6 hours. And yeah,
Thank you.
great. Yeah, thank you for asking that question. And if you have more questions, you know, again, you can email me too if it's after today. So I'm going to scroll back up here to slide 7 here, I think. The Google Level 1 training site. I can't remember if I showed you the Teacher Center yesterday or not, but I do have the links here in the slide deck that you can get to it. And it says choose the path that's right for you. The fundamentals training here. So here's start training. Now, do you have to go through all of this before you take the exam? You don't. My personal goal, I needed to go through this because I was learning about the apps, because I wanted to try it with my students. So, you know, I was trying to learn as much as I could. So I went through, I think, are there 13 units. And do you have to go in order? You don't. But if you look right here, if I click on this unit, if I'm signed in, it will keep track of where I'm at. I don't know if it makes me sign in, but if you want to keep track of where you're at, make sure you sign in. Yep, it looks like it's sending me to sign in. So it's going to ask what account. Again, whenever I'm in my work account here, I only sign in to my work account. If I want my personal account, I go back to my Google Chrome profile and do my personal account there. Kind of like today, how I was switching back and forth. So I'm signed in here. So it took me to Unit 4. So what it does is it gives me an introduction. It tells me what I'll learn, what products we'll cover. And if I want to learn how about these things, I can go here and learn how. To me, sometimes I needed that human interaction to show me, like apply Gmail filters. I could learn how here, but I know me as a learner, sometimes going step by step for some of these directions. Some of them I got, some of them I didn't. So it may or may not help you. But you've got, you know, again, if you're brand new to this, you can learn how here. And then that's the introduction. So that's what it's going to, you know, it's going to cover some of this information here in Unit 4. I can go to this next lesson here. And I've got, you know, the lesson here, its estimated time is 17 minutes. Again, it could be depending on your knowledge. And then you can scroll down, you can watch the video if you want, you can view the transcript. And then here's a lesson check. Do you have to do these lesson checks? You don't. If you do, you know, here's the first question. I didn't even read it. Let me just answer. It says check answer. Nope, try again. And check answer. Okay, correct. So do you see it? It lets me keep going back until I get the answer correct. Now, if I go on to the next lesson, these answers won't save for me. Again, do you have to do these? You don't. You know, if you, once you look at the introduction, you think, oh, you know everything there is about what they're talking about, you can skip that. You can go jump down here to unit review, and you can look at this unit review and answer the question. So right here it says, oh, I got a 7 out of 7 right, 100%. Well, if for some reason I didn't get 100%, then it'll tell me, oh, you got 6 out of 7 right, or whatever it may be, and give me the percentage. And then I can go back in and I don't have to redo all of the this unit review. I can just go back. It shows me answer or question 2 I got wrong, and then, you know, go back, put whatever answer I think. We know it's not that one, and then hit submit, and then it'll say if I got it right or wrong again. So again, you can do this as many times as you want. And this is just the Teacher Center, or the fundamentals training for level 1. You know, let's say you're looking at this, you've been using Google for a while, you think you know all of it. You don't even need to go through this fundamentals training. Again, I wanted to learn as much as I could, so I went through this because back then I didn't know about any workshops like this to help me through the level 1 certification process. And then once you're done, you know, it shows you you've got a check mark, and you could go and register for the exam. Now, again, can I still register for the exam even if I didn't go through all of this? You can. So if I go to certification here, and I think I have a link built in into the slide deck too. So I could, you know, go to certification here. I can go to get training, fundamentals training. I can see some sample exam questions here as well, and then get certified. I can take the exam. Again, the exam is 3 hours long. Will it take everyone 3 hours? Again, I've had people say it took them 1.5 hours, 2 hours, 2.5 hours. Everyone's different. Personally, it took me 2.5 hours, but then I used that extra half hour that I had left to go back to some of the questions that I just wanted to review. And then if I go here, I can find some more exam details. Again, if you use the voucher, that will save you $10. You don't have to use a voucher, but it's available to you if you would like, since you did take this workshop. And then if I'm ready, I can register for the level 1 exam. So then it takes me to this website. And my suggestion here, make sure you are in the Google account you want to take, that you are logging in with your email address. So I'm in my work Google account. My suggestion, use your personal email for registering for your exam, so that your certification is tied to that Google account. Because if for some reason you leave the school district you are in, you would have to transfer your certification to your other Google account. Is it doable? It's doable. I don't know the steps you have to do, but I've just learned over time, if you can, you know, your personal Google account you always have. So if I want to register with my personal Google account, register with my personal Google account, but don't do it while you're logged in into a different account. So I would want to make sure I go to my personal Google account, come over here, and register for the exam using under my personal Google account and my Chrome profile. I have had a few teachers register for the exam under their work account, but put it in their personal email, and they were having difficulties. There were problems. So what you're doing right here, you are creating an account and criterion for you to take the exam. Then once you have this account created, then you will have to go and register for the exam. So I took my exams in my personal account, and if I show you what the personal account looks like. So what I showed you there, you are creating your login for the Web Assessor by Criterion. And again, I don't know if I think I said this in the beginning yesterday, that if you are wanting to take this exam, right now Google is saying that Web Assessor by Criterion, this exam on this platform, is ending June 30th, that they're switching it over to ProctorU. So it will look different if you take it after June 30th. And then don't pressure yourself if that's too soon, but you would like to take it someday, it's still doable, so it's fine. So then once you have your account, you're logged into it, do you see right here, register for an exam? You have to come up here and register for then the exam. Once you register for the exam, you have 8 days to take the exam in. So let's say if I want to, today's Tuesday, let's say I wanted to take it Friday. My suggestion, make sure you register by tomorrow, because Google also says it may take up to 48 hours for you to get your Google account. Again, you get your own Google account exam. You're not even touching your Google Drive or any of your email in this during this exam. So right here, it's telling me the level 1 exam's $10. And then after you take the level 1, if you're successful and want to try for level 2, again, there's a level 2 out there, and we do have workshops here on the level 2. And again, be looking for that in the near future, that we might even spread it out so it's not so condensed 2 days and 3 hours long. So again, here's level 2. And then again, if you're wanting to become a trainer, here's where you go to trainer. You also have a online assessment and other things to do. So first you have to go here, create your account for Criterion. Once you have that done, then go to log back in and register for the exam. Then once you have the exam, you can click on here. Oh, here's another tip that this just happened here, I think in May or June. Now, after you take the exam, it's going to say it may take up to 14 days. Was it 14 days for you to get your test results, or was it 10? I don't know. It was days. Always in the past, they would email you automatically and let you know that how you did. Because again, it's a machine, it's an algorithm grading your exam. Your exam, you don't have to make it look pretty. Just follow the steps or tasks that it asks you to do. Here's the tip. If you haven't remembered anything else from the last 2 days and you plan on taking the exam, after you take the exam, I don't know if it's immediate or you might have to wait a few minutes or hours, come here to look at your assessments. Right here under My Assessments, it will tell you whether you passed it or not. So you'll still get an email, but under Assessments, it will show you then if you passed or failed. Then my certifications, it tells me how long they're good for, when they expire. So again, Google has them expiring because they want you to stay up to date on the apps they have out there. Then again, you can see the receipts of your exam if you are paying out of pocket for any of the exams, and maybe your school district's going to reimburse you. You can see that. If you look back, let's see at the slideshow, again, with the exam, you need an 80% to pass. If you look at, I think I had a document in there, some Google certification test tips here on slide 7 that we've compiled. One last thing here about the test. When I first took the multiple choice drag and drop section of the test, I did not, at the top of the screen it says the time. Again, you've got 180 minutes and it does a countdown. Well, I didn't want to look at the time because I didn't want that. I didn't want to get too, more stressed than what I already was, because I did have anxiety, and it just reminded me what, we put some of our kids through, how that they have stress or anxiety when they take quizzes. And anyway, right underneath the time, it showed me on the multiple choice, choose 2 of the 4 answers. So it kind of helps you kind of know, okay, only 2 of the 4. You can kind of, do a process of elimination of at least one of them, if not more. I did not see that until I went back to review my answers. Once I saw that and I was reviewing my questions, it gave me more confidence, like, okay, I did have that question right. I'll move on to the next one. So as you're taking the test, you have the choice and the option to mark some of your questions to go back to. But again, depending on how much time you have left at the end, you may not have time to go back to everyone. So, be cautious of, not marking every single question to go back to. So again, a lot of information. Like someone, I think Teresa said, it is a little overwhelming, but if going back to slide 2, I did then what I knew how to do. Now that I know better, I do better. So quote by Maya Angelou, and hopefully you will be able to change something within your own teaching when we go back to school this fall. So
Lisa, can I ask a question?
Yeah, we'll take questions. And again, it is time. I'm over time, so I do respect your time. So stay on if you have questions or answers, and we'll go from here then.
Okay. Well, what happens if you fail the exam? Do you have to wait and then pay again, or what?
Yeah. So if you fail the exam the first time, you have to wait 14 days before you can take it again. I worked with a teacher last month who failed the exam the first time. He ran out of time. And then he took it the second time and he passed it. But he had to pay the $10 each time. So the first time you take it, if you use our voucher, you've got the voucher. Or you can pay, the first time $10, and then if you fail, you can use our voucher the second time, whatever. And then if you fail the second time, I think you have to wait 60 days, and then you do have to pay again. So yeah, great question. Thanks for asking that. Yeah, feel free to unmute yourself.
When we register to take the test, it's whatever time you register under where the little icon goes by your signature, right?
Molly, I heard bits and pieces of that. I was trying to put it together, but I just can't. Is there a way you can put it in the chat for us?
She did put that question in the chat. I think her question is, if you sign up with your personal account, the certification icon under your signature will only be on that account, correct?
No, great question. You can transfer it over. You can copy and paste it over to your work account. Yeah, great question. Thank you, Brett. I just haven't had time to. Thank you, Breck. I haven't had time to look back and chat at the questions, but Molly, did that help answer your question? So I did the test in my personal account, and then I could put the badges on my email account. I think on my email account, my signature, I think I just put, I think my internet's going really slow. Oh no, this is throwing me off today, saying I have to click on the see all settings. I was waiting for it to load to come up to this page, where in the past it was coming up to that page. On my signature, oh, I just put Google certified level 1, 2, and trainer. I know they've got the badges, and yeah, you can just copy and paste this badge over here on your signature, no matter if you did create it, you know, if you did do the training in your personal account. This is my work account. You can do that. Great question. Okay, so Mike asked, great question, Mike. So yeah, if you sign up for the voucher today, we do ask that you let us know maybe a date that you might be interested in taking it. The reason being is, you know, again, what we found is that if you don't have a date in mind, you may forget about the voucher. The LTC did have to pay for those vouchers. So I have had one teacher return the voucher to us because she's like, I'm just not going to get around to it. She appreciated us letting her get the voucher, but we put it back in the pool, so we had another voucher to give another teacher. So again, once we give you the voucher, I don't think they've got a way to set up to make sure that people are using them all the time. So that's why we put a date in there. So if you kind of have a date in mind, if not, you've got the link, you've got the slide deck. As long as we have vouchers, and right now we have plenty of vouchers, that you can come back in a month or two to get a voucher as well. I've had, you know, trainings in January, and here in June, teachers were finally ready, had time to spend to take the exam, so they filled out the voucher form. So yeah, great question.